I think we can all agree that Super Mario Odyssey is a pretty good game. Even if it wasn't your cup of tea, you probably enjoyed it to some extent. But this game has incredible unrealized potential. If, or rather when, Nintendo makes the sequel, there are definitely some ways to improve the experience. Oh, and if you enjoyed the video, remember to subscribe. It helps a lot. Thanks! No further dilly-dally, let's upgrade Super Mario Odyssey! Let's start off with a fairly small complaint. The bosses. Mario games have always struggled with making compelling bosses, and although it does the world-specific bosses well, the Brutals weren't handled correctly. These are pretty boring bosses in general, and it only gets worse when you have to face them multiple times throughout the game. You'll face all of these guys twice if you follow the story, and again if you want to unlock the final level. They'll be slightly harder versions, but it's really the same thing. To add insult to injury, your rewards will decrease from a multi-moon to a single moon to no moon for beating each of them. By the end of my first playthrough, I despised them, especially since the boss rush was fairly difficult and I was facing them multiple times there. One easy way to spice up these bosses would have been to make the arena more interesting, but every time it was just a circle with nothing in it, except once where it was ice. So what's the solution? If they have to keep the Brutals next game, vary the boss arenas more please, but I think a better solution would be to add the Koopalings. They have past moves to draw from, tech to enhance them, and they've never been in a 3D Mario game. Even better, there are 8 of them, so that's enough to have an original boss fight for most of the worlds in the game. Also, they have far more individual character than the Brutals, which if nothing else, would make for better dialogue. Speaking of characters, I have no problems with the game's main story. Honestly, it has more of a story than most Mario games, and I'm certainly fine with how it played out. But there's a ton of wasted potential here. Let me explain. In New Donk City, we meet Pauline, one of the few real characters in Mario. Mario and Peach have little in ways of a personality, and a simple label will do for the most part. But Pauline has motives, responsibilities, a position of importance, and is a great singer to boot. In some ways, she's more of a mascot of this game than Mario is. I'd like to see some other characters get the Pauline treatment, like Rosalina in Mario Galaxy or Bowser in Super Mario Sunshine, both of whom had some sort of backstory, motives, and people they cared about. And I know this kind of fleshed out story isn't really Nintendo's style, but even if it was just told through a series of pictures or Easter eggs, it would be really great to get to know Mario and Peach better than White Knight and Damsel in Distress. Throughout this story, Mario visits a number of unique and varied locations, from the colorful Luncheon Kingdom to Bowser's samurai-themed castle, but the Metro Kingdom is everyone's favorite. Surprise, surprise, partially because of the Epic Festival, a giant reference, awesome music, beautiful visuals, and awesome level design. It was perfect. Even when I replayed the game for this video, I found myself in awe. We need more stuff like that. That was the only real set piece in the game. Yeah, you could point at this or that location, but for many people, this was the standout moment, and we didn't get anything else like it. Some of you may be thinking, but the reason this one felt so special is because it was the only one. Okay, so we don't need one in every kingdom or anything, and they don't need to be this elaborate, but please Nintendo, a few more of these in the next game would be legendary, especially if they were referencing other games too. I'm not the only one who heavily appreciated costumes in this game, or at least I hope not. They were great, full of charm and sneaky references, but I feel they were underutilized, and I think it'd be great if there were some gameplay mechanics associated with them. The closest we got was wear this costume and we'll give you this moon missions, but it was cosplay, surface level. So what if we had special abilities associated with each one? Hear me out, because I think this idea has a ton of potential. It solves 2 problems. It no longer makes the costumes worthless, and it could fill the role of traditional power-up in this game, something that was noticeably absent. What if, for example, equipping the Luigi costume lowered your traction but let you jump a little higher, or equipping the snorkel increases the time you can stay underwater, or the gold Mario costume is a coin magnet. Just little gameplay changes for each of these costumes is something I'd love to see in a sequel, adding a bit of strategy and extra gameplay options depending on which costume you choose. Oh, and continuing in the vein of collectibles bought at the Crazy Cap store, let me arrange the stickers on the Odyssey to create my own design. It's not personalization if I can't personalize it. The multiplayer in this game is very mediocre, but as I can't think of a specific way to improve it, except allowing a two-person mode in Luigi's Balloon World, I want to focus on something different, adding a competitive multiplayer mode. There are two possible modes that I see, for something that would take relatively no effort to put in. Each kingdom has, 50 possible locations for where a balloon could be, and a certain amount are spawned into the map. Both players simultaneously compete to get the most balloons in a set amount of time, maybe 30 seconds or a minute. Whoever has the most by the end wins. Given all the code for Luigi's Balloon World is already there, all it would take is plopping a second Mario down for the other player to control, and this game mode would be set. My other idea would be a grudge match for up to 4 players. There are a few arenas to choose from, and you would have to knock the players off the edge. A hat throw might stun them, a ground pound would send them flying, and diving could also have some effect. Of course, for this idea to realize its full potential, we need those extra costumes from earlier. Imagine if Builder Mario could swing his hammer, or the samurai costume let you swipe with your sword. That would be great here. This wouldn't be a massive extra mode, but I think it would be a fun thing to mess around with and play a match or two with friends. Now comes the final part of the video, which contains the biggest problem in the game, or rather a multitude of problems with the collectibles found in every nook and cranny. There are so many power moons in this game that it devalues each one. When I find a moon in a literal pile of garbage, beating a boss for the exact same thing just doesn't feel special anymore. Also, there's absolutely zero incentive to explore a kingdom in the main story after you've gotten the required number of moons. There's no advantage because it doesn't carry over into the next location. It's a waste of time. These two issues combined can make the game feel more like a checklist than an adventure. Now, I definitely don't have all the answers when it comes to this problem, but I do have some suggestions. Tone back the number of moons in each kingdom, hide them better, make the player work harder to achieve each one. Hopefully then, each one will have a similar amount of oomph to the power stars and shine sprites, and give the player a bigger sense of accomplishment. As for a continued incentive to explore after meeting the minimum requirement, well, that's a bit more tricky. My main upgrade to the system would be turning the power moons into a sort of currency. Perhaps once you've gotten the amount you need, you can spend them at the shop for special unlockables, like the special costume powers I mentioned earlier. It would take some tweaking to make sure that the player didn't soft lock themselves in one particular kingdom, but there are ways around that. I think a secondary use for the power moons would really incentivize them more. But what do you guys think of my ideas? Let me know down in the comments, and also let me know what game or series you'd like me to upgrade next. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, because I have some cool stuff in the works. I also have daily uploads with my Character of the Day series, so if learning a bit about a specific game or character every day interests you, stick around. Oh, and also, I'm doing a giveaway. If I can reach 500 subscribers by August 5th, I'll be giving away this $50 gift card. So tell your friends to help me reach my goal and sign up for a chance at the prize. The link is in the description. I hope you enjoyed the video and to see you back here once again. This is Danny from VG Chat, signing off.